So we've just watched episode 3, Moffat's Boom. I think it was a fantastic first draft of a really good episode.
That's a good way to put it.
It felt very first drafty. There was a lot of fat.
There was a lot of elements in there where it's a good episode. If people really enjoyed it, they really enjoyed it. So that's fine.
Well, people are touting it as the best of the season. Like people...
Far,
they're saying the best episode in ages too. I think I've heard Wild Blue Yonder and this, and I think I'd agree.
I'd agree with that.
I enjoyed this one immensely. I just think it also had a lot of problems which could have been fixed very easily.
I'm looking at it as like a whole series. The initial RTD, the Moffat run, and in those eras, I felt like we had the through line of what the characters were up to. So Season 3, it's Doctor coming to terms with this with Martha, like what's happened before. And then in Season 4, it
was an emotional thriller.
Yeah, and Donna is challenging the Doctor on his morality and the idea that this Doctor has like a dark kind of side to him that they might have explored if they had another season. All these through lines, maybe out of context of the season. This is a good episode, but me looking at it as a full one, I'm like, this is the 3rd episode. Feels like it's Season 2. The same way the Fireplace Man episode was Season 2, where everyone is really established.
Yeah.
And we've gotten used. By that point, we've gotten used to David's Doctor. We're really used to Rose and Mickey. And this feels like it would have came in 3-4 episodes from now. Because I'm still waiting, and I don't think I'm going to get it. And it must just be me. For Ruby and Shooty to like click or have any kind of beyond just... Isn't it nice that we travel time together?
Yes.
And I don't think that's coming. It just means there's no depth there. The only depth is we're constantly being reminded the Ruby Sunday special.
Yes, there's nothing under the surface. It really is just two friends going on a holiday. But I think this episode for me, and it's probably because of the way Moffat writes, I'm a big Moffat stan, love him so much.
You're more so than me.
Just, again, I've got a list of some of my favourite lines that I'll read out in a second.
Give it time. Everywhere's a beach eventually.
I can't think unless I'm talking, and I can only talk to you.
But the way he writes the Doctor, it did come off very Capaldi era in this. So I don't think it needed to be Shooty's Doctor in this episode.
I was imagining could Matt Smith, but yeah, I think it would be Capaldi or Tennant could have done this as well.
I think Capaldi could have done really well in this one as well. But it did make Shooty feel like the Doctor.
It was his best.
Although he does feel like a different Doctor to what he'd done the last 3 episodes.
But we're still kind of figuring him out.
Yeah, but it just doesn't feel like he's individual yet.
Yeah, there just seems to have been a choice to have just hit the ground running with this Doctor.
Yes, especially with the way they regenerated him too.
But then I still feel with Christopher Eccleston, I'm bringing up bloody Rose again. I had that hour to get to know the Doctor, but this Doctor, and maybe the fans who had been big Doctor Who fans since the 60s, they probably liked the episode because they got the chance to learn how this Doctor worked, where I was learning how the Doctor worked.
I don't really know how this Doctor is different to the other one, except he has less trauma. Like he's less burdened, which isn't really a fun thing.
Therapy time.
Yes. That's the only real way he's different to me so far, but he did feel very Capaldi through the dialogue from Moffat and the way he responded to things.
Faith, the magic word that keeps you never having to think for yourself.
Do you get it? Like when he was getting in one of his little epic rants.
Things like ordained Anglican Marine. I'm like, that's Moffat, straight up. Like,
and also that whole concept from the season
from the
5.
Silence.
We had the priest soldiers back then, so he's kind of carrying over an idea, which is fine. Clearly something he just likes that aesthetic, which is fine.
Yes.
I knew the moment Kiss Kiss was said, it would be a thing. It's just a Moffat.
He loves to telegraph.
He loves his telegraphs. In the behind the scenes, like the brief conversations that Stephen was having with Russell in the TARDIS set, he was echoing things that he has said about Doctor Who before, which was every Doctor Who episode should feel like it has a movie concept.
Yes.
That, like, even the worst of ones can have something that felt like a movie. And so in this, I definitely felt that there was this, like, there's a bit of world building going on with this world. That, like, you know, he thought about, like, the machines that clean up the dust.
Yes.
And all these little things that it just felt like he had put some thought into exactly how this culture and war works.
Minus the little settlement. You did get a little fun throwaway line of like, oh yeah, Dad got dispensation to bring me to war because that's how capitalist war is now. But we'll run through the plot real quick. So This one's because it's a concept episode. It's Moffat doing a bottle episode to save money.
It's mainly taking place in a trench, you know.
Yeah, some of the CGI makes it feel like it's not a cheap episode because they bother to do vistas and like the drones going overhead. But I think this still would have been one of the cheaper episodes, especially if you compare it to something like Wild Blue Yonder, where they had to build a giant like walkway down a soundstage, do all the CGI for the whole time, track it all in. They put this in a ditch so you don't need a green screen. It's for most of this, until they point up occasionally. It's the Doctor walks onto a landmine.
Could have been a stage play.
And he can't move. It'd be a very interesting one. Like, that'd be very fun. I think I immediately liked this episode because he felt like the Doctor immediately, because he hears someone scream and he immediately sprints off to go save them.
Yeah.
And then he just like leaves his companion. He's like, stay here. Obviously, she's not going to do that.
The TARDIS is the safest place in the world, so...
Yeah, it should be, but she obviously leaves it.
Yeah.
But then he runs off to go help, and then immediately stands on a landmine and can't move for the rest of the episode. And it's incredibly well done on that set.
And having him be nervous, so he's like singing, and then he's going on little like, did you know, rants, the way to keep calm. And
they also escalate it really well. Like, it starts off there, he's like, oh, I've got a bit of time, but I have to put my foot down.
And having the bar.
Then he puts his foot down. Yeah, you have a perfect ticking clock.
And then explaining the visual thing as capitalism.
Yes.
So all that stuff's great.
I think they went a little bit too far into the whole message. Like, capitalism is bad, also war is bad, also faith is bad.
Generation.
Like, AI algorithms are bad. Yeah. Like, he just kept hammering it home.
Because I was waiting for the reveal to be that there's different human bases and they're all just shooting each other. But instead it just is, they're getting injured naturally. And then the moment they're somewhat injured, they're then killed. So then the statistics go, oh, loads of people are dying at war.
Yeah, it was a little cloudy in that regard of like why the war keeps going on. The episode that did it better was Doctor's Daughter.
Yes.
Where they've been fighting each other for generations, but it's been a week and a half. Whereas in this, they're fighting nothing and they're standing on their own landmines and shooting each other, I guess. They don't go into how they're hurting each other. Like, we don't know why old mate went blind in the beginning.
But he was blind, blindly following someone like Faith.
Oh, it's a metaphor. Oh, I guess. Yeah, I didn't pick up on that at all. I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah.
But they don't say how he got blinded. We see his mate get blown up by a mine, the same mine. But they don't go into why they're fighting each other. So I wasn't really when it was, oh, they're fighting no one. It was drip fed a little, like the Doctor's like, there's barely anyone out here. Like, why are they fighting?
That this company, like whatever it is, has basically an AI algorithm is running it.
Pretty much.
So it needs to expand. So therefore, it's creating fictional fake wars. So you keep buying. I'm not sure what that means. They started the war,
but they started the war with no one.
Yeah.
The way they explain it is they landed and apparently shot the gun into the air and said, "We come in peace."
But then the AI goes,
and then because that counts as combat, which that's the thing. It gets messy the more you think about it. Like most Moffat stuff.
I was worried that he was because he has the bad habit of going, but yes. Like he gets. His cleverness gets in the way, like with Dracula, I think is the ultimate example of him being too clever.
Fantastic first episode.
Yeah, but just being too clever for his own. And Jekyll, as much as I like Jekyll.
I never got around to Jekyll.
Yeah, once again, fantastic first episode. But then he just gets in his own way. He always wants a bigger idea, a cleverer idea.
Yes.
And he was saying, and it made me very sympathetic towards the story, because he was saying with Russell going, the Doctor's really hard to deal with as a character because he's so clever and so well-to-do.
And the writers can't be that clever.
You can't just simply have him walk into a spaceship and there's a problem, because he could, as he said, he could solve that with his left hand.
And then they gave him the sonic screwdriver, meaning he could solve it even quicker.
Yeah, so you have to put him in situations where he's really on the back foot, and in this episode, he's really on the back foot. And I went, you know what? He's absolutely right. The Doctor would be very difficult to write for.
Yes. Oh, even just the world, the fact that you can go anywhere and do anything, it's like, choice paralysis.
So that makes me more sympathetic towards this episode, because
but that's their job. They've chosen to do this.
Yeah, I know. Well, the Doctor's on the mine. Doctor's on the mine. Ruby comes out. What's going on? I've stood on a mine.
Harry, I'm standing on a landmine.
So all that was really good.
Yes, he's immediately panicking.
It's their best stuff together, which annoyed me, because we're then confirmed that this is her first time on a new planet.
Yes.
So therefore, this has to be fairly linear.
Yeah, they couldn't move
because weren't you telling me that maybe there was a 6 month gap between...
yeah, well, one of our comments pointed it out was apparently Devil's Cord was meant to be episode 6. But
they got rearranged.
Yes, so they've pulled Devil's Cord out of later on and put it to be part of the premiere.
I could see that.
Because I assume they either thought it was a much stronger episode in general, either it gave the tone better, or maybe they just wanted to put Jinx Monsoon's face on everything. It could be rage baiting. I don't know. It's hard.
It's a more fun episode than that one. Like
Yes.
the one we're watching now.
But again, we're saying don't write space babies. Don't make a weak episode your first episode, and we won't have this problem.
Yeah, because this episode to me just felt like it was meant for because it's Moffat, a more established Doctor. So I'm here still trying to figure out. I still feel like I am. Like I remember.
I agree. It didn't build on anything. Like Ruby got no real development in this.
Once again, we're just reminded what a situation is. That's
and
all.
she's musical again.
Who's my next of kin?
Yes, that made me very annoyed. We'll get to that at the end, but yeah, no one really grew. As in, like, I guess
The Doctor's a bit more accepting of Faith in the end.
I don't know if it's more accepting or he just knows that people do need it. So when he sees her grieving, it's like, okay,
And
it's
when
fine.
he
It's fine when you're grieving.
He's annoyed at the when Faith is done wrongly. Like
Yes, I guess, when it's
they've
used as an
bastardised
excuse.
Faith.
In the cold open, there's two soldiers walking through. One of them gets blown up. One of them's already blind, and the blind guy gets confronted by an ambulance, played by Susan Twist again. She's the one that keeps popping up, so she's probably the most interesting through line we have. Honestly, I don't care who Ruby is. I care who Susan Twist is.
It's a very Russell thing. Once again, it's on point for Russell to have very obvious.
I don't think normies would notice.
I don't think no one's been out, but I think he's hoping that when it's revealed, you're going to be like, she was there the whole
it's
time.
that chick. But the blind dad gets smelted down into a little urn.
You can see like an eyeball in it. Like,
Yes,
he's
it's
full on
a
got-
bit fun. But Ruby's not nearly grossed out enough by that when she
Considering
finds it.
this must be a second or third adventure.
And she almost vomited when she got snot put on her from babies in
far
Space
too
Babies.
very accepting of the situation.
Whereas lifting up a human corpse with a very obvious eyeball and ear on it, and she's like, I found this, it's a bit gross.
Well, at least now we explain why she says you always fix something. If that episode was meant to be later in the season, then
Yeah, although
then-
again, he didn't fix anything in the finale of this.
Yeah, well, we'll get to that. So we meet Splice, who's the daughter. In the initial scene, seems like as someone who works with children, I'm a teacher, it's felt like a 12, 13-year-old to me.
Yes, definitely.
She goes out with them for whatever reason to go
Well,
find
she leaves
Dad.
the settlement. She goes in a war
she
zone
leaves
to find
independently
Dad.
of Mundy. Okay,
Yes, she goes solo. But she says, where's my daddy?
Also, was saying, "Where's my daddy?" She sees a hologram, runs to him like that's actually him.
Yeah.
And then she then says, "Oh, he was a hologram. Where's he gone?" And I was very confused because at first I thought, oh, maybe they're going to do a thing where they've made them believe that your dad's not dead. His whole consciousness is now an AI. So technically you can still speak to him. But then it gets even worse that when things start getting really stressful, the AI comes back and goes, want to look at some photos? And she sits down happily to look at photos while chaos
Again, in the
happens
middle
around
of a
her.
war zone
And
while the doctor's getting shot at.
Okay, so why is one? She's went from being 12 to like 3 or 4 or 5. Like she's become a baby child, and I just didn't understand what that was. Like,
Yeah. Although Moffat never really wrote children very well, or women. But
he makes women, like in this once again when we meet Mundy, she's like, oh, because of our tension. Like I was like, once again, it's a very Moffat woman thing. Like
that was one thing that was completely
bantery,
pointless.
chatty, flirty. Yeah.
Yeah. Before we meet Splice, or like as we meet Splice, we also get introduced to Mundy, who's played by.
Next season's companion, but will not be Mundy.
No, it seems like her story ended.
They
Again,
simply just liked her and
it
must have
seems
wanted
a lot
her back.
like, yeah, they shot this episode and they were like, do you want to come back? Like, you were really fun.
Which has never it's happened, but it hasn't happened this immediately.
And it was also that forefront of a character as well.
Yeah, like Amy Pond was
Yes,
like.
she was like in the background covered in makeup.
Then she's with a new doctor, new
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah, whereas Russell says this is timey-wimey, so we know that she's going to
They're
be
gonna try
the
to
same
explain
essence.
They're going to try to explain it.
It could be that they thought, oh shit, we have to explain it, but who knows? But then,
I didn't notice until it was pointed out there.
Yeah,
to
me
be
neither.
fair. So I don't think it
Yeah,
would
they
have been
didn't
a
have to,
problem.
but they're probably
Yeah.
going to. They're going to turn her into Clara or some shit. When I was talking about it being a draft episode, that was part of the thing that I think would have got cut in a sharper copy. You'd give us more time with the Doctor and more time doing things rather than a
You think the
weird side
The
relationship.
love story stuff with
Yeah, that's when
Mundy and
that should have got cut.
Should have got cut.
Like we were fine with the daddy and the daughter doing their thing, and then the Doctor and Ruby doing their thing. We didn't need 2 extra people to come in.
I don't know why Mundy and the daughter could have been formed into one character. Maybe you make Dad slightly older, and then the daughter's a fellow soldier who's with him.
Entirely possible, yeah, because then you can. They basically just needed Ruby to get shot, because surprise, Ruby gets shot because it's Moffat, and he has to immediately kill a companion. People have to die.
And I felt that, like, if this was a 2-part, as you said, that would have been the stinger.
Yeah.
Ruby's dead. The thing's going up. Is this the moment?
It could have been a really fun two-parter. Like, it was a really fun single episode, but I think they still managed to rush it.
Yeah.
And they Deus Ex Machina.
Particularly towards the end, where
that's the thing.
it
He
felt
Ex Machina's everything just worked out. And again, the Doctor really didn't do anything.
It seems to be a track record now of...
This Doctor runs away. No, at least he was very Doctor in this. Like, fantastic. I think they touch on a little bit the way he plays off some of the sass. Like, it's going to be a moment. When he's I need you to get me something. It's going to
be a moment, yeah.
I need you to get me something so I can put my foot down. And she's like, isn't that going to be hard? And he's like, it's going to be a moment.
Oh, it's going to be tricky.
It's gonna be a moment, yeah.
I did like that.
He played that so well that he could be like the snarky Doctor.
Yes.
Capaldi had a little bit of it, but it was more like old granddad being a bit more
But that
persnickety.
also felt like if that was Donna and the 10th, you'd have something similar. You can imagine her go, well, that'd be dangerous. And it'd be like, it'd be a moment, Donna,
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't think Ruby really shined in this episode very much. I like that she wanted to hand him the thing instead of just tossing it. Like, she was willing to put herself in danger for the Doctor.
Yeah, then the gun situation and all that.
Yes, she hasn't been in much danger yet. So it's good to see that she has a bit of a fire. But Ruby dying does really play into the...
It's the escalation of tension. And I think all that's great, like when we were told in this scene that you're dead anyway.
Yes.
Like, so there's no getting out of this. And then when you're told, but because you're a Doctor God, like the way, because it breaks you down, but in breaking you down, you'll explode.
It's not just the Doctor, because for a bit there, the Doctor's like, okay, I'll die, but like it'll be okay. Everyone else will survive. And then he's like, okay, this isn't the mine I thought it was. I'm going to take half the planet with me.
Yeah. And so I really liked all that, in the script writer, like, that's very good, Steve. Like, I was very
good on you, Moffat.
But as I said last week, this Doctor really needs someone who isn't Russell to write him. And I think because Steve probably wrote it not knowing much about Shooty's Doctor, he just kind of wrote a Doctor, which it's not surprising that you can see Capaldi in that situation.
Yes, it's like he feels much more like the Doctor.
Or he's thinking, I need to write a Russell type Doctor. So then that's why I was thinking, I can see 10 in this situation. That it felt very...
Yeah, he's definitely more doctory.
Shooty to all these Doctors that are around him.
It almost feels unfair.
It's unfair, but also it's because we haven't known him enough. I keep talking about the overall thing because when I'm watching Doctor, that seems to be what I'm most concerned about is how all this is work, because I want it to work really. I want Doctor to keep going, and I want it to... It's such an obvious basic, and the way I'm doing it, I want it to make me feel the way I did when I was at school.
Want that nostalgia.
And so I'm fully aware that it's me just growing up, and it's me just not being with the times. And since I avoided the Jodie era, maybe if I'd forced myself through it, I would have been very grateful to have an engaging episode.
Yes, but this is leagues above.
He right now still to me doesn't feel...
He hasn't defined himself yet.
Hasn't quite defined himself.
Yeah, which I think is probably the only downside of this episode.
He feels very like a Russell Doctor, particularly a 10 Doctor. Like he's outfit wise, he's very conscious of his outfits,
right,
and all that. And we did get some nice little. We got the fish finger and custard, but that's
so unnecessary.
Apparently there was a Capaldi reference in there which I missed, but
yeah, probably. So Ruby
Ruby
dies, and we get more mystery box stuff. They go through the effort of earlier on when the ambulance measures the blind dad's age, it says calendar age, and it knows his calendar age instead of just saying age, because when it did Ruby, it said 3000 because she was born 3000 years ago, even though she's only 19. Unnecessary? I don't because Mundy wasn't like, wait a minute, you're 3000? There was no reaction to that. And he had to go to the effort of changing everything to be calendar age. Why would it do calendar age? That means this thing has a database of everything. Again, it doesn't matter. It was a bit of a fun line. And
yes.
It didn't click onto the Doctor and say the Doctor's age at any point, did it?
Because it couldn't figure out what the Doctor was because it's only scanning for humans. So it couldn't figure him out. And then because she gets injured, it moves on to her. Because the way the machines work is if you've got the least bit of an injury, it's killing you. So then the number can go up. So then we can just keep the cycle going.
Yeah, if you're damaged, it puts you out of your misery.
It's like a horse at a racetrack.
It's like, oh no.
Yeah.
Which again gets too dumb if you think about it because they're fighting no one. But then it escalates even more and more because when she's dead, the Doctor's stressing constantly because it's saying she's about to die. And then it starts to snow because she's a mystery box.
We don't know why it snows. It seems that to me that she exists.
She has to be Pantheon
she's
related.
She's a focal point.
Yeah,
Pantheon
she has to be Pantheon related for it to be this.
She's
dramatic.
a focal point of time or something.
It's got to be something, which is why I don't think I care. It's like it could be anything. It's so broad. Whereas at least Susan Twist rocking up over and over again, I'm like, what are you up to? Like, does she know that she's everywhere? Like, that's more interesting to me than Ruby's parent is probably the trickster or some bullshit. The who is my next of kin? I think it's mainly grating on us because it's been every episode.
Every episode we've been hit with it.
Yeah,
and
if it wasn't every single episode, I would probably be like, oh.
It now makes sense why that Abbey Road went straight to her floating in the sky doing a magical thing. Because it's like, yeah, by then we probably would have
mystery companion.
We probably would have built up to it more to her doing that.
But even then, that's 4 episodes out of the season.
I
that
know
have
it
already done
sounds
that.
daft, but I wonder if in future you'll have fans go, oh, flip them around.
I did say last night to someone that basically, I reckon this season might actually be better on reflection. So after the finale comes out, we'll look back and we'll be like, oh, and then
I don't think that's it.
It's not fun now, though.
It's weird how 8 or 9, if you count the Christmas one, it's weird how having just 8 episodes were compared to the 13, how that's really like limiting. You know, you only think, oh, it's only 5 episodes, but it means that they don't have an episode where it can just be a fun 40 minutes.
Yep. And if you're peppering story arc throughout it, instead of that being spread over 13, that's now a lot more. Like, you're getting bombarded every second week minimum.
I'm grateful for the B episode.
Yes.
The Agatha, even though I remember going, oh yeah, the B episode, but I recently rewatched it for...
It's a wasp.
It's a wasp. It's fun. It's really silly. Yeah. It's just David and Catherine having fun.
It gets to show Catherine a lot better. Like, Donna comes out very big in that episode.
Yeah, it still has that. And I was like, but then you're grateful for those type of just silly episodes that happen. Where with this, it's like they want every episode to be a blink, a banger.
Ganga.
Because they have less, they have a more bigger budget. Disney probably wants people to come back every week and go, wow. So they're trying to hit it harder.
Oh, and it's the point you were bringing up, how, God, this poor doctor just can't seem to go an episode without tears running down his face.
Yes, immediately. That's how he solidified himself in my head. He's the doctor that cries a lot.
He's the doctor that cries a lot, very emotional. I think if I'm just summarising it, it started off incredibly strong. It felt like the Moffat stuff, but then as it got, I said to you, it got worse as it went, I felt.
Yes, definitely. I think the concept's so strong. It's kind of like the emotional through line goes down, but the escalation of the actual drama in the episode goes up.
Yeah.
So it's like less is going on, but more is going on.
I want to sound like such a hypocrite now, but I'm like, God, I wish he kind of went a bit, he went Moffat big by the end. Like, I know they can't have it be, but they can't have it be, and the doctor conquers the whole algorithm problem as well, which they kind of actually did, didn't they?
No, the dad did it through the power of love, which people might get mad at. I'm not mad at it. I just wish the doctor caused it more. Instead, the doctor was like, hey, can you have a look around? And then the dad solves the problem, and the doctor's like, oh, I can get off the mine now. Like, the doctor didn't do anything again.
Yeah, and I suppose it comes down, like, because I don't want to sound like, oh, if the doctor's not solving everything by himself, then it doesn't count. Like, obviously, it's completely fine. But there seemed to be a balance in the past where the companion would be the emotional centre. I'm here to keep you on the straight and narrow, doctor, because you can go, which is the whole point.
It feels like he doesn't need a companion, because he's fixed now.
Yeah. I think my issues are still with those. It's with the core pillars of the show.
There's no interpersonal drama between them.
I don't particularly have a problem with this episode. It was a fine, good episode, but I went in going, man, I hope we see more Shooty's characterization. I hope I really click with Ruby this time.
Yeah.
I wasn't too stressed about, man, I hope Moffat fucking smashes it and gives us a blink.
I think I did get that Moffat part. I won't think of this episode as the episode where Shooty really came out and like Shooty solidified himself because he was standing on a mine. He had nothing better to do but to doctor. I got a really good Moffat episode. I didn't get a really good Shooty episode.
I think that's it.
And a lot of people are saying that you don't need interpersonal drama between your companion and your doctor. It's been since episode 1, baby. In 1963, the doctor kidnaps Ian and Barbara, and Ian is ready to like beat the shit out of the doctor and be like, take me home, and then they have to work together. And then he's also like, doctor, you're a bit of a twat, you know that?
Yeah.
And then he's like, they're at each other's throats every now and then, which does grate on you a lot because it's 60s acting. They're going from like best friends to like, you listen here, you young whippersnapper, and they're going back and forth so dramatically. But there's always been interpersonal drama between the companions and the doctor.
With Matt Smith, Karen and Rory. Like, that's the only time they ever did this sort of love triangle situation which was pretty popular at the time, Twilight and all that. Like, which man is
Which
she going?
team?
You know,
Tumblr probably frothed over it.
Over it. But point is, in that, there was all those frictions. Like, she's there, she's running away from her wedding. Rory comes in, and Rory has a bit of a problem with this guy because he's this magical man.
From episode 1, like, Amelia Pond runs away from her wedding, and they do the whole pan over to the wedding dress.
That's what
and it's
she's
like,
avoiding.
Oh, that's something.
Yeah.
Whereas, again, Ruby's just wants to go on a trip with a good mate.
And Rose is running...
I say that too often. Like,
yeah, no, it's fine.
It just keeps coming back.
But Rose, even if you look at Rose, she has... Why would she want to leave? 19, I don't just want chips. She didn't like her life.
And her boyfriend, she wasn't sure if she wanted to even be with her boyfriend.
But then he has the advantage of having, like, this doctor's incredibly guarded, hasn't had a companion for a good long time. So then there's all that friction there. But it's been there in New Who, apart from maybe the fam. I mean, where the fam's like, I think the doctor's a bit sad, but then they never actually do anything with it. They just
did a lot of... the writing isn't good enough there to even blame anything. Yeah,
but there is
I can't blame the dynamic there.
There is some kind of attempts at friction.
In the flux, they decide that she's lying to them, and she's like, "What aren't you telling us, Doctor?" Like, there's a lot of manufactured drama, I guess. So Chibbers, as bad as he was at a lot of things, he knew that he needed that, so he did try to sew it in.
So it is
like they killed Ryan's grandma immediately. So like that was something for him to do.
Yeah,
so, like they had stuff.
And so briefly putting aside this episode, as solid as it was, I mean, if I had to give it I'd give it a light 7 out of 10.
I was gonna say, I'd go 7 or 8.
I was really liking it the first half. I was really happy with how shooty. I was like, obviously he can act. He's acting very well. I'm still not sure on this dynamic, but that's just obviously a personal preference for me.
Yeah.
But then as we get into the moment that the girl turns up yelling "Daddy," Mundy appears, all that, and then the way it all gets solved.
It gets convoluted pretty quick.
Yeah, because I was there going, exactly what's happening? I was a little bit... At points, I was slightly confused exactly because we aren't seeing the grander situation because he's built this world.
Well, how many other soldiers are there? We've seen a total of 4 soldiers. 2 of them get murked immediately, and then we're left with 2 other soldiers. It's not a battlefield so much as like it was a battlefield.
And so I was there going like, man, would it have been better if it was simply just we didn't know what the outside was like? Yeah. But the fact that you give us a glimpse of the outside, that makes me want to go, well, what is going on over there? And it's weird that we've all kept it, particularly when the discussion is about the grander stuff. A company which only exists as a word. We don't have any representative of the company. We don't have a man in a suit going, oh, the algorithm says. Like, we don't have that, which... If this was maybe a 2-parter.
The Ood episode.
That's what I'm thinking.
Tennant.
The Ood episode.
Where you see the corporate bullshit.
The corporate bullshit. I thought maybe if this one episode was on the mine, then maybe the next one is off the mine, off to deal with the big issue.
Or even just leave the Doctor there for 2 episodes and make Ruby have to go do something while the Doctor's just there for a day. Because Shooty can pull it off, I reckon. Shooty could probably pull off just being on a mine for 2 episodes.
As Moffat was saying in the special features, in the special interview, he was saying how even the worst of Doctor episodes had great ideas.
Yes.
And this is one of those where he's wedged in some really fun ideas, like the world building of this planet, this war. Really good, really cool. Once again, Moffat for me is a guy who just needs to write a novel. He needs to write a good fantasy sci-fi novel, and I think he would be really good at it.
And he could plug his holes, like he could
do it. I really think it suits him. He's one of these guys who just hasn't realised he should write a novel. I know it sounds
less exciting. You don't get to see the product.
But he wrote some Doctor Who books, and apparently they're pretty good. Like he did the 50th anniversary novelisation.
We touched on it last week a bit, how we were saying RTD is the character guy and Moffat is the plot guy. And he does that in this episode. He kind of forgets to do good characterization.
And how much of it is Russell? Like Russell going, oh, well, you used to have an anti-capitalist bit in there.
Yeah, it felt too preachy in a couple of places. But that's the thing. It's like he forgot about all the good character work that he should be doing, but the plot and the escalation and a lot of that's really good. I don't think the direction was very good in this episode. I think I do need to say. Just blocking and maybe the way they had to work around the set. I'm thinking of the part where Ruby is about to shoot Mundy and old mate rocks up from the background. You said it's like he appears out of nowhere. It is, but they don't even do any inserts. There's not like quick cuts of like
him running,
it's like what's that in the distance?
I heard a gunshot. Maybe they did do it. He hears the gunshot, wants to go running. But maybe they just went, no, we don't need that shot. Yeah,
because they're literally about to get shot. And then just in the background, he goes, oi, oi. And then he shoots her. And I'm like, where the fuck did you come from? There was nothing interesting going on there. He just popped up and shot Ruby.
I think you hit the nail on the head of it being a really good first draft, that if we had a chance to go through it again, you maybe would have got rid of the love story.
Yeah. Cut the fat.
And I said maybe make Mundy the daughter character or a surrogate daughter.
Yeah.
Where's my general
She thinks you killed my dad. Then Ruby. Then you can still kill Ruby. And then the daughter killed Ruby. Then she feels bad.
Yeah, then she's got the emotional input of having to see him in AI form. And obviously, I don't want to do the whole, it would have been better if, but if the AI had been, because the girl goes,
he needed
my
to
mum
pick a cause.
Get gathered up. So we have the religious angle, and religion's being used for the space Amazon. But the girl is blissfully fine. And at the end, when she's like, my dad's gone, but he's not gone or whatever. I'm like, but you're holding him. He's right there. His eyeball is in the blender.
Yes.
And so for her to be like, I thought it was going to be this dark ending of after all that, she still thinks that, mum got gathered up and her dad's been gathered up.
Yeah.
So I was thinking it would have been cool if that AI was more like him. So then there's this whole thing of like,
well, he is the love comes through at the end, but she doesn't get to deal with that. It really is the whole, he needed to pick either war is bad, religion is bad, or capitalism is bad, and go in on them. Like pick one and then actually drive that point home rather than just being like, oh yeah.
Because they don't pray, they don't do anything particularly religious.
No, they just have vicar things.
Which is very similar to what he did with the Silent Angel thing.
Yeah, he just needed to go further with the character stuff, but the escalation, everything story and plot-wise was really, really fun.
Just needed tuning.
Yes.
But I think if someone wants to say that this was the best episode in this season...
easily, I'd agree.
Yeah, I'd agree. There just doesn't seem to be a connection other than the Doctor always has a companion.
Yeah, there's no reason for them to be together apart from that as good
And if
mates.
you want to say this doesn't need to be the case, and you want to go through the history of Doctor Who and point out situations where the Doctor simply had a companion and there was nothing more to it, then that's fine. But of New Who, it seems to have always been consistent that the companion and the Doctor have some kind of friction, some kind of more connection other than the Doctor always has a companion.
I have an idea. What they should have done is, because I'm obviously smarter than Russell T Davies that gets paid millions of dollars.
Once again, I want to stress that these guys, they're right rings around me.
Yeah,
I'm not saying I could do it any better, but
this season's through line should have actually been Ruby's parentage, but make the Doctor actually want to find the parents. Do you know, in the first episode, he says, I can't take you to find your mum.
Yeah.
Make him scan her and go, something's fucking weird, we need to find your mum. And then that's what they're doing. They're bouncing around trying to find the mum. We need a reason to be together.
Yeah, and I guess also it's the fact it's a returning person who already had his say with Doctor Who.
Yes.
So he's here going, because he's a creative person, going, I don't want to just do the same again. Which I think maybe some of us wouldn't have minded. And I think he kind of got that out of his system with the 3 specials.
Yeah.
Particularly with Blue Yonder.
And I think
that felt straight out of season 4.
Like,
you could have put Wide Blue Yonder in season 4.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't have been too out of place.
Maybe he doesn't know who Shooty is either as a Doctor.
Maybe part of me's there going, does he know? Does he only know how to write one kind of Doctor?
Yeah.
And it made me go, how much of the Doctor characterisation comes from the actor?
Yeah.
How much of it comes from the screenwriter? Because I remember Moffat initially wanted an older man for Matt Smith, but until Matt got in, then he went, okay, it's Matt.
What I'm hoping for is next week, 73 Yards. It's a Ruby almost, I think it's a Doctor Light. From what I've seen, it seems like the Doctor might vanish immediately, and then it's about
she's
Ruby.
By herself.
She needs it. Which is a bit rough because now this is episode 4. We're almost in the middle of the season.
Yes.
And we're only just getting... I hope we get to know her very, very well in this episode. I think this could make or break her as a character for the season.
For us, maybe.
For us, yes,
maybe everyone else is perfectly pleased with Ruby.
But again,
Sunday.
on rewatch, maybe it's all fantastic after we've seen the finale. Maybe it all comes together. But tell us what you thought. Do you like Ruby? Is Ruby well liked? I know people like... She's charismatic. She's not a vacuum. Like Ryan and Yaz, pretty charisma vacuumy. Not especially Ryan.
I should be doing more.
Not enjoyable to watch. Whereas
I'm annoyed I can't ride a bike.
whereas watching don't tease him. Whereas watching Ruby,
I can. I'm allowed to. I've got dyspraxia.
Whereas watching Ruby, I at least enjoy watching her. I just don't care so much.
That's it. It's one of these. It's almost episode. It's almost a sequel, prequel stuff. Yeah. Technically, all this is better, but I'm over here looking at the prequels, going, at least it was kind of organised.
It's fun though. Yeah.
You know, there's elements over there that were better.
But yeah, tell us what you thought, and don't forget to subscribe because we talk about lots of things. Thank you very much. Goodbye.